I'm Michelle Reese with History Miami Museum, and we are thrilled to invite you tonight to our Miami Art Week exhibition opening night. Well, normally we'd have a plaza filled with people, but it's 2020, so we're bringing you the exhibition right to your home. So what are we opening? We're opening Urban Tranquility, photographs by C.W. Griffin. Now, what is Urban Tranquility? Well, it's all about the serenity that's in downtown Miami. But I'm not going to tell you much more than that because we have the curator and the photographer to give you a behind-the-scenes look in just a few minutes. But first, we want to start with our executive director, George Zemanillo, to tell us a little bit about why we wanted to have this exhibition here at History Miami. Hi, George.
Hi, Michelle.
First, I'm going to put my mask on, so we are socially distant. And so tell us a little bit about why we wanted to have this exhibition here on the plaza.
Well, it's really important for us. Years ago, we established the Center for Photography at the museum, and we knew we wanted to highlight local photographers and documentary photography, and this is a great opportunity to do that during Art Week.
And we normally have the Miami Street Photography Festival, so this was another way to have photography on display.
It is, and when the opportunity arose to bring in Carl Juste and C.W. Griffin, these are two photojournalists that we worked with in the past that have over 30 years of experience, and what a great opportunity. We just couldn't pass it up.
Well, what are you hoping that the visitors who come to this plaza, they take in the exhibition, what are you hoping that they take away?
Well, like you mentioned, I wanted to come away with a new appreciation and sense of peace when you visit the plaza in downtown Miami. This is an urban oasis right in the middle of downtown Miami that many people don't know about.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, George. And to hear a little bit more about this urban oasis, we are going to bring in our photographer, C.W. Griffin, to talk about some of these beautiful images that you see here behind me. Now, C.W. is a former Miami Herald photographer with decades of experience. And so, C.W., thank you so much for being here tonight to talk about your work. So tell us a little bit about this project.
Well, this project started, I would say, a few years ago after visiting one of the events that was, normally held here during Art Basel. And I went on what was called a photo walk. After going on that photo walk, I was pretty excited about the types of images that I would see, the architecture, all those things, became pretty exciting to me. So I routinely would come back, at random times and walk around and photograph visually, and still become excited by what would happen here in the downtown area.
And now the exhibit is called Urban Tranquility. So tell us a little bit about that title and what you captured in your photos.
It's called Urban Tranquility simply because when I come down into this area, there's a certain sense of peace. It's unlike any other metropolitan city that I'm accustomed to being in that you can come down and there's not the hustle and bustle of major cities like New York and Chicago, and at all times you can find a resting place, both physically and mentally. And between the structures, the older structures and the new structures, the contrast that was created by those particular settings just brought a sense of peace over me.
Well, tell us about this photo right here, because you really do see just one person walking along the stairwell of the plaza here.
This photograph to me was an attempt at a graphic image. It was the fact that the lines were leading down and that he was coming down, and the texture between the wall and him all played as part of a graphic image to me that I found particularly pleasing.
Okay, great. Now let's take a look at some of the other photographs. Now, you took 2 years working on this project, right?
Yes.
So we have hundreds of images that are part of this visual essay, and I can see these people here are wearing masks, so this was just very recent.
Yes, indeed. That was probably no more than a month ago. Came down. I have a couple of students that I work with as mentor, and occasionally I would bring them out and we would walk and make images of all of the scenery around this area.
And this is from Government Center Station, right? Because all of these photos were taken within a 1-block radius.
Exactly. That was the premise, was that I would come down, maintain a 1-block radius around the Government Center area, and see what visually would stimulate me within that area.
Well, talk about visually stimulating. This next photograph has to be one of my favorite here on the plaza. Tell us what's going on in this photo.
In this particular photo, I am walking about a block away from the courthouse, there's a bus station, and those bus stations have glass surrounding the seating area. And this gentleman was standing waiting for the bus. I just walked up, took the picture because I liked the reflection of him in the glass. I didn't, disturb him in any way. And hopefully he may come to the plaza and see this picture.
Wouldn't that be fun for him to see that he's on display here at the museum? Well, let's keep walking. Now, I noticed a lot of people in the photographs, but some of your images just have buildings. Tell us about this next photograph.
In this particular photograph, the thing that intrigued me was the juxtaposition of the old and the new. The courthouse is one of the oldest buildings here in this downtown area. I think at one time it was even the highest high-rise structure in this area, and now it's dwarfed by many of the new and the modern style buildings. So just the juxtaposition of the architecture itself was interesting to me.
It really is so beautiful down here for people who don't get a chance to come to downtown often. One of the things that's on our plaza along with the museum also is the library, and I notice here in this photo you're able to capture people there.
Yes, the library is also one of my favorite spots. It's pretty hot in Miami, and it's a nice place where you can come and sit and get a little bit of that free air conditioning. You can relax. I go up, I read, check out photo books. So it's a very important place, in this particular area.
And the Miami-Dade Courthouse is right next door to us, and this photo, the next photo here, was taken right outside of those steps. So tell us what was going on in this photo. How did you capture this?
As I mentioned, one of the things that I do is mentor young photographers. And in the mentoring of one of my students, I came down and I explained to him the importance of setting a camera with settings that were
We have the one thing that's not serene about downtown, right? We have our metro rail going through. That is the only sound we have out here tonight on this plaza here at HistoryMiami Museum. So let's go back to the photo really quick.
All right, so as I was mentoring my student, I told him one of the things that you have to do if you're out doing street photography is to make sure that you have a camera set where you can grab images, at an instant without having to fiddle with the camera. And just as I mentioned that to him and had my camera set, I looked up and saw these kids coming by on a bike, just having fun, and wheeled around, stuck my arm out, and took the picture. So he saw the picture and couldn't believe it simply because we had just had that discussion.
It's a great image, and one of the things that strikes me is there are really no cars on the street behind these kids.
All right, and that's part of the lure for me, is that I can come down and there is, life, but there is also peace.
One of the next images is really peaceful. To me, this screams tranquility. We have birds right on top of our courthouse. And something that speaks to me is the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic. The exhibition's about the peacefulness. Did you see that tie?
Yes, there's always been that tie with birds and pigeons and freedom and flight and all of those things combined. So generally when I see a picture that has those elements in it, I try to make that frame just to convey that.
Wonderful. Well, is there anything else you want people to know about this exhibition? What do you hope they're going to take away when they come to the plaza here at History Miami and they look at all of these images?
Well, I'm hoping that they'll come through, see some images, see some things in a different light, things that they walk by every day but really don't pay very much attention to. As photographers, is one of the things that we strive for, and the fact that we have a saying that most people look but they don't see, and as photographers we try to see, and hopefully when they come here they'll see something that they can identify with.
That's beautiful. C.W. Griffin, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for sharing your beautiful artwork with all of us here at History Miami Museum. And I want to turn it now to our curator, Carl Juste. Carl, a photographer in your own right of many decades, thank you for curating this wonderful exhibition. Tell us a little bit about your vision for this exhibition.
Well, I was kind of peeping over CW's shoulder one day and saw these grouping of images. And I've been coming to this plaza since probably my senior year in high school. making pictures, my own, because it has such strong graphic and architectural elements in this space and are surrounding it. And I started reliving that sense of discovery, that nuance, that only as a local that you really get to appreciate. And that's the talent of CW. He's able to give you something that you might perceive as being ordinary and make it seem very special. So I said, yo, Griff, man, we gotta get this thing. I said, how long you been working on this? Oh, I've only been shooting for about a month. I go, all right, look, let me know when you're done. Well, a month turned to 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Then I approach the museum and say, hey, I got this concept that I would like to put together. And well, yeah, we love it. We'll see when it fits in. And then 2 years went by. And then COVID happened. And, we all keep moving on. Just kind of like the space. It's here. We move through it. And eventually I got a call and said, hey, we're really interested about this Urban Tranquility. I said, oh, man, this is perfect. Serendipity, as is on my side again. Mm-hmm. And I started looking at the work with different eyes now. I started looking at the work in places that couldn't be in public, places that I could no longer visit in terms of crowd, in terms of activity. And I started seeing this serenity being pushed outward from the center. And I said, this is a great thing to hold on to. Why don't we take the sense of peace and offer peace in a very chaotic moment? So that's what it came to.
Well, and let's talk about the plaza just for a moment. Why was this plaza the perfect place for an exhibition like this?
I call it the People's Gallery. It is a space where, cross-section of people kind of can choose to intersect. It is a space where the various echelons of power, or the lack of, can share. And I think it's very democratic in the sense that it's a beautiful space, but it allows you to be whoever you are. There's no velvet rope out here. Right. Yes, there is a wall, and people usually complain that it keeps, it may inhibit from people visiting, but I say maybe it also keeps a sense of serenity and security. So it kind of works both ways. Depends what side of the wall you're on.
Well, and right outside of the wall, as you mentioned, is the Miami-Dade courthouse. And I always like this image to look at because it says, cutting away your troubles. I'm sure all of us want to cut away our troubles right now in the middle of the pandemic. But tell us a little bit about why you like this image so much.
It's duplicity. It's two things kind of like coming into a juncture, right? You have a person who probably does not have a day job. You have a person who does have a job that, he has to get up and probably put several hours, long hours in. And they both intersect. And I think this is one of the talents of Griff. He's able to find these intersections. As I walk through all these and look at all these images, I don't see color, I don't see age, I don't see race. I see humanity. I see myself. And I think that's what makes this space so special, because no matter how you define yourself, no matter how others define you, there is a space for you here. And I think CW has captured that visually very well.
And you've known CW for a while, and he's actually part of your Iris PhotoCollective, and we are doing this exhibition here at History Miami in partnership with Iris PhotoCollective. Could you tell everyone a little bit about that?
Well, I work for the Miami Herald. I'm a staff photographer at the Herald for the last 31 years, and CW was one of my mentors when I started back in the 80s. And here comes the train again. So, yes, back in the 80s, I was working at the Miami News at the time, and we would meet because we shared the same space at a joint operation agreement. And we would run into each other. When the JOA came to an end, the Herald picked me up, and him and a couple of other really well-known photographers took me on their wings. And I've been working for the Herald for 31 years, 32 30 plus years. I'm not going to give out my age. And when I started Iris, I wanted to be able to amplify the voices of people of color. I wanted to be a endeavor that was inclusive. And some of the photographers that are part of Iris, they come from every background and every different skill levels, and CW now is a member of Iris as of 2018.
Well, we thank you so much for partnering on this exhibition. It is just beautiful and such a treat for all of Miami to come and see, and I can take my mask off now. And we certainly invite all of you at home to come see this exhibition. It opens tomorrow here at HistoryMiami Museum. The museum is open Thursday through Sunday for free right now with a reserved ticket online, but the plaza is open 7 days a week. We certainly hope you'll come out here and enjoy this beautiful photography by C.W. Griffin. Thank you so much and have a great night.